A rising music star, a missing teenage girl, and a Tesla that hides a horrifying secret. What police discovered inside this car has shocked the world. Her name was Celeste Rivas, and her connection to the singer David is darker than anyone could imagine. Tattoos, leaked messages, and chilling videos now paint a story that's stranger and scarier than fiction. Was it a tragic accident, or something far more sinister? Stay with us, because the full truth is more disturbing than you think. We've been covering the shocking discovery of human remains found in the trunk of a Tesla owned by singer David. Now, the mystery deepens. Authorities have identified the victim as David's girlfriend, Celeste Rivas. But that's just the beginning. Recent footage from a party shows the couple getting intimately close mere hours before the tragedy, adding a chilling twist to the story. Was this a tragic fallout from a lover's dispute, or is there a hidden layer we haven't uncovered yet? The details are emerging fast, and we've pieced together the timeline. Let's dive into the shocking revelations surrounding this case, starting with the headlines that first tied David's name to the death of a teenage girl. The initial reaction was sheer disbelief. For years, David had been seen as the quiet prodigy of the music world, a breakout artist whose songs carried a haunting melancholy, never a hint of menace. But beneath the surface of his meteoric rise, fragments of a darker reality were beginning to emerge, a story where art, life, and tragedy intertwined, until the truth became impossible to ignore. It all began with a seemingly ordinary abandoned car in the Hollywood Hills. Locals had noticed it parked in the same spot for days, silent and unmoving, windows tightly shut, emitting a faint but unmistakable odor. After 3 days, authorities towed the Tesla for violating local parking regulations. At the impound lot, the smell only grew stronger. When staff finally opened the trunk, what they found was horrifying. Dismembered human remains sealed in a bag. Tracing the vehicle's registration led investigators straight to its owner, David Anthony Burke, the 20-year-old indie musician from Houston, known worldwide simply as David. His quiet, melancholic persona masked the chilling reality that was now unraveling before everyone's eyes. When police confirmed that the Tesla was registered to David, the case instantly transformed from the discovery of an anonymous Jane Doe into a high-profile celebrity-linked homicide investigation. The public's reaction was immediate: shock, disbelief, and questions racing across social media. Authorities initially described the remains as severely decomposed, making identification difficult. But one detail stood out: a tattoo in red ink on the victim's right index finger, reading "Sh." This small clue was released to the public before the victim's identity was confirmed. It was Celeste's mother who came forward, telling investigators that her missing daughter had the same tattoo, and that she had a boyfriend named David. Within days, authorities confirmed the body belonged to 15-year-old Celeste Rivas, who had been reported missing the previous year after multiple runaway incidents. Her final disappearance, however, proved different. She never came back. The confirmation that Celeste's body had been found in David's Tesla ignited a storm of speculation, accusations, and relentless media coverage. Outlets like TMZ reported the revelation bluntly, reminding the world of the grim discovery: body parts found in the trunk of singer David's Tesla. And now, with the victim identified, the case had taken a shocking turn, full of twists and unanswered questions. The victim, as it was later confirmed, was 15-year-old Celeste Rivas. But the connections between her and David went beyond the haunting tattoo. Images circulating online showed David with the same "Sh" tattoo on his right index finger, black ink instead of red, but in the exact same spot. While this style had been popularized by celebrities like Rihanna and Lindsay Lohan, the coincidence only intensified speculation about a personal connection between the singer and the underage victim. Celeste's mother added another layer of unease. She revealed that her daughter's last known interactions involved a boyfriend named David. Though she had never met him, she recounted the chilling detail of Celeste leaving with him one evening, and never returning. At the time, law enforcement remained cautious, refusing to officially label David as a suspect or even a person of interest. Yet online, the narrative spiraled, fueled by public shock and mounting suspicion. Live streams and social media commentary reflected the collective disbelief, the questions racing through the internet, and the sense that the story was far from over. When a Tesla was impounded in a Los Angeles tow yard, authorities made a chilling discovery. Inside the trunk were the human remains of 15-year-old Celeste Rivas, who had been missing since the summer of 2024. Forensic teams reported that the car had been parked for days in the Hollywood Hills, near a property connected to David's management. Lapped homicide detectives later searched the vehicle, removing a computer and collecting an evidence bag. The car's proximity to David's known residence only deepened suspicions surrounding the case. Despite the shocking discovery, David did not immediately respond publicly. He continued his tour, performing in multiple cities, drawing criticism as fans and media alike questioned his silence. TMZ noted that only after mounting public pressure did he cancel select dates, including a scheduled performance in Seattle. As of now, police have not officially named him a suspect, though this incident marked the first time he publicly addressed the matter since the discovery. Amid the unfolding scandal, David cancelled one show but still had another scheduled in Seattle that night. The contrast was striking. Headlines screamed about a dismembered girl discovered in his car, yet David appeared on stage, handing out merchandise to cheering fans. This dissonance only intensified public suspicion. How could a performer act as if untouched by such a horrific revelation while the trunk of his own vehicle had become a crime scene? The timeline added a darker dimension. Celeste had gone missing in April 2024, at just 13 years old, but her remains were only recovered in September 2025. The possibility that she had been dead for months, concealed in a vehicle linked to David, left a haunting trail of unanswerable questions. Law enforcement statements did little to calm speculation. Authorities confirmed that multiple individuals had access to David's vehicles, yet the Tesla had not been reported stolen, meaning David, or someone close to him, was aware of its location. Despite this, he remained free, cooperating with investigators but facing no charges at that time. The public, fueled by media coverage and online commentary, struggled to reconcile the image of the popular indie musician with the horrific discovery. Experts and academics weighed in, questioning how someone so young and seemingly harmless could be connected, directly or indirectly, to a case that had captured national attention. Many speculated that if anyone were to be considered a person of interest, it would be David. This ambiguity only fueled public suspicion, as his artistic work suddenly came under intense scrutiny. Fans revisited his breakout track Romantic Homicide, which included the haunting lyric, "In the back of my mind, you died." Once explained by David as metaphorical storytelling, the line now felt disturbingly literal to the public. Even his music videos and stage performances were dissected. In one video, he was shown placing a body in a car trunk, while live shows featured funeral imagery, caskets, wreaths, and somber theatrics. What had likely been conceived as symbolic storytelling now seemed like confessions hidden in plain sight. The investigation revealed more eerie connections. Leaked material suggested a song allegedly titled Celeste, written in late 2023, containing references to her name and presence. Whether the song was authentic or fabricated, its circulation online intensified public belief that David's personal and artistic worlds were intertwined with the tragic fate of the young victim. Adding to the growing suspicion were digital traces. Discord messages, alleged iCloud leaks, and photos appeared to show David interacting with a girl resembling Celeste. Screenshots suggested her presence in his servers as early as 2022, when she would have been around 11 years old. If accurate, this indicated a connection years before her death, deepening the disturbing nature of the case. At the same time, frustration grew over law enforcement's cautious approach. As TMZ reported, the LAPD's Homicide Division was investigating, but officials had not formally labeled the case a murder. Despite the dismemberment and concealment of the body in a trunk, authorities refrained from making premature charges. This careful stance left the public exasperated, interpreting the very act of dismembering as undeniable evidence of foul play. The Tesla itself quickly became a focal point. Its advanced security features and location data were scrutinized, revealing potential insights into the timeline of Celeste's final movements. Every detail, from the car's proximity to David's known residences to the digital footprint connected to the vehicle, fed a narrative that the public found both horrifying and irresistible. Attention increasingly focused on the Tesla itself, a vehicle equipped with surveillance cameras, location tracking, and event data storage. Commentators speculated it could hold crucial evidence, while academics pointed out the dark irony. If David was involved, he had chosen a car that recorded nearly everything. If this is the case, he might be the dumbest person on Earth, some remarked. Why would anyone commit a crime in Elon Musk's so-called on-road spaceship and then leave the body in the trunk? What became clear was that David and Celeste were connected by more than coincidence. Digital trails, eyewitness accounts, matching tattoos, leaked media, and even his own lyrics converged into a deeply disturbing picture. Whether he was directly responsible for her death or not, he was undeniably intertwined with her life, and with the circumstances that led to its tragic end. By late September 2025, the case had evolved from tragedy into public obsession. Fans dissected every lyric, post and photo. While media outlets mined archives for symbolic meaning, turning David's career, art, and personal life into a focal point of national scrutiny. Investigators worked methodically while the public clamored for swift answers. The disturbing connection between David and Celeste had surfaced, and once seen, it could not be ignored. Yet this was only the beginning. The investigation was set to intensify. Family members would speak out, collaborators would distance themselves, and Tesla's data would loom as a silent witness to the unfolding mystery. By late September 2025, the murder of Celeste Rivas had transformed from a shocking discovery into a sprawling investigation dominating media cycles, fan communities, and law enforcement resources. With the victim identified, her body traced to a Tesla registered to David, and digital evidence linking the two, the focus shifted. The question was no longer whether there was a connection, but how deep that connection ran, and whether the full truth would ever emerge. The LAPD formally transferred the case to its robbery homicide division, signaling it was being treated as a homicide. Yet officials remained cautious in their public statements. They emphasized that the cause of death had not yet been determined, and despite the dismemberment and concealment, they refrained from calling it outright murder until forensic results were complete. TMZ captured this ambiguity succinctly. The LAPD homicide division is investigating this case. They still have not said it's a murder. Correct, they don't yet know the cause of death. The LAPD's procedural caution only fueled public frustration. Commentators pointed out that accidental deaths rarely involved dismemberment or concealment in a trunk. The very act of hiding a body suggested intent. If someone fell down the stairs and broke their neck by accident, why would you dismember the body? They asked. Yet, the absence of formal charges allowed David to remain free, at least temporarily. Central to the investigation was the Tesla itself. Equipped with cameras on every side, GPS tracking, and advanced data storage, the vehicle was expected to hold crucial evidence. Observers noted, Teslas are incredibly sophisticated. There must be footage, police can access it, and it could provide timestamps and location records. Law enforcement reportedly subpoenaed Tesla for this data, hoping to piece together the car's movements and trunk activity. Abandoned less than 100 feet from a property linked to David's management, the Tesla became a silent witness to the case. Parallel to the forensic investigation were testimonies from those who had known Celeste. Her mother confirmed the matching tattoo and identified David as her daughter's boyfriend. A teacher provided additional detail, recounting how Celeste initially disappeared after meeting him, returned briefly following a police intervention in Hollywood, and then vanished again in 2024, never to return. According to this account, Celeste openly told peers she had met the Houston-born rapper through social media. Online speculation further complicated the narrative. A widely circulated Reddit post from September 8, 2025, claimed that Celeste's older sister had allegedly exploited her, introducing her to older men and playing a role in her disappearance. While unverified, these claims added another layer of unease and highlighted the complex social and familial context surrounding the tragedy. Though unverified, the Reddit post gained credibility because it accurately predicted that Celeste was the body of Tesla. If true, it a broader context of exploitation surrounding the case. Celeste's brother also came under the public eye. Reports claimed he had been contacted after her identity was confirmed and allegedly stated that the family had tried to involve law enforcement earlier, only to be dismissed due to lack of evidence. Whether authentic or not, these claims reinforced a narrative of systemic failure, warning signs ignored until tragedy struck. The cultural fallout for David was immediate. Brands like Crocs and Hollister severed ties, while collaborators who had once defended him publicly reversed their stances. Jason the Wine, who had days earlier insisted on David's innocence, unfollowed him, joining the wave of distancing. Other influencers, celebrities, and music industry figures also stepped back. David's label, Intercope, remained silent, though speculation about his contractual future intensified. Meanwhile, his fan base fractured. Younger audiences who had propelled him to fame on platforms like TikTok now found themselves divided between defending their idol and condemning him. TikTok comments and Twitter threads became battlegrounds of interpretation. One user wrote, "He's 20 and she was 15. He's a pedophile and a murderer. He needs to be locked up now." Another countered, "I'm usually innocent until proven guilty, but with this much evidence, you're delusional if you think he's innocent." David's silence only deepened suspicion. He refrained from making statements, appearances, or explanations. His last post before the news broke, a cryptic 6 and 7, became a subject of speculation, with fans attempting to interpret its meaning in the shadow of the tragedy. Fans and commentators speculated endlessly about David's cryptic post, theorizing that 6 and 7 might reference dates, codes, or even a countdown. Without clarification, it became yet another piece in a narrative already saturated with ambiguity. Meanwhile, the recontextualization of his art intensified. Every facet of his creative output, romantic homicide, stage performances, and online reposts, was dissected. Videos captured him carrying caskets onto stages, performing in funeral-like settings, and weaving imagery of death into his shows. Lyrics once interpreted as symbolic heartbreak were now read as literal confessions. His reposts, featuring cannibal fantasies, boiling water violence, and obsessive love, circulated online as supposed evidence of his mindset. This blurring of art and reality sparked broader cultural debates. Some academics suggested David had been embedding Easter eggs in his work, perhaps even subconsciously signaling his own guilt. One commentator remarked, "This guy seems almost sadistic, like he wanted to get caught." Others countered that these interpretations were retrospective bias, with audiences projecting meaning after the fact. Regardless, perception of his work had irreversibly shifted. Theories proliferated online. Many insisted the case was a straightforward story of exploitation, violence, and concealment. Others suggested blackmail, citing alleged messages from Celeste's friends claiming attempts to extort him. A smaller faction clung to the possibility of a setup. Yet the physical evidence, the Tesla, the tattoos, the photos, and the leaks, tilted heavily against such defenses. Even if he had not directly caused her death, the evidence suggested, at minimum, that he maintained an inappropriate relationship with her. As commentators noted, that alone could carry legal culpability. Academics and commentators captured the public sentiment succinctly. Even if David had not directly caused Celeste's death, their closeness, or alleged romantic involvement, would, at the very least, implicate him in an inappropriate relationship. As weeks passed, the measured pace of the lapped investigation clashed with the internet's insatiable demand for answers. Authorities had confiscated electronics, subpoenaed Tesla for data, and searched David's residence, yet without public charges, speculation filled the vacuum. Fans meticulously tracked his tour cancellations, social media activity, and the reactions of his associates for any sign of movement or explanation. The broader consequences of the case extended far beyond one artist. It reignited debates over the vulnerability of young fans in parasocial relationships, the responsibilities of platforms like Discord and TikTok to moderate interactions, and the music industry's duty to vet rising stars. Critics highlighted that many of David's fans were themselves teenagers, raising ethical questions about power imbalances between artist and audience. By October 2025, the truth that had emerged was far from definitive closure but formed a constellation of disturbing facts. Celeste and David were linked through tattoos, digital evidence, witness accounts, and leaked media. Her body had been found dismembered in his Tesla. He continued touring in public silence while brands, collaborators, and fans withdrew. Police retained devices and data that could clarify the full narrative, yet their findings remained sealed. The case stood unresolved, but its cultural impact was undeniable. David, once celebrated as a breakout artist for his melancholic authenticity, had become the center of one of the darkest intersections of celebrity, fandom, and crime in recent memory. Whether guilty of murder, exploitation, or merely silence, the facts that had surfaced had already reshaped public perception of him and left a chilling mark on the story of Celeste Rivas. David's career, reputation, and the memory of Celeste Rivas were now irrevocably intertwined. What began with the faint, unmistakable smell from an abandoned Tesla escalated into a chilling revelation. Fame, art, and tragedy had collided in a way that could not be ignored. The investigation would continue, and answers might eventually surface. Yet the disturbing connection between David and Celeste, and the cultural shockwave it unleashed, ensured that his name would forever be spoken alongside the grim truths that had emerged. Thank you for watching. If you found this story compelling, click on one of the boxes on your screen to explore more content like this.